Okay, so today's video is going to be tips on spending a lot of time at your desk. So I'm a developer and I spend a lot of time at my desk. I sit there for hours and I just stare at a computer screen and work on code. So some stuff that I've kind of learned how to get used to this. If you're someone who has a hard time sitting down and just really focusing on something for hours at a time, you might find that this is kind of like hard to get control of. For me, even my first job out of school, I was sitting down, I was looking at a computer for a long time, and it was different because at school it's like, oh, okay, I'm going from this class to this class, reading this textbook here, I go to the library for a little bit, get up, walk around, I'm like looking at a book, I'm not staring at a computer screen, I'm not working on one task for this entire time, like I'm looking at different stuff, working on different projects, there's a lot going on. So when you are at a job from 9 to 5 and you are just staring at a screen, how do you overcome the mental barrier? How do you overcome the distractions and stuff, the wanting to not have to just sit there and look at a screen? Okay, so the thing that I would focus on is, I always say it, keeping paper with you. Keeping paper with you because I just think naturally I'm the type of person where I can write things down more quickly than I can type them. I can draw a diagram, and that diagram is going to be worth more than 600 lines in Notepad. So if you think oh, I'm not gonna write stuff down because I'd rather have it all on my computer, try to think more creatively about what you could do with a piece of paper. And I have a computer where I can draw on it. So if you have a computer like that, you think more creatively about how you can draw on stuff. So don't just focus on the fact that you have to use your computer. Keep other stuff around you that's going to be helpful for your job. So for me, I always have a piece of paper, lots of stuff to write with, and I'm always diagramming, I'm always writing down where I am in a problem. And the best tip I can possibly give you is, if you do get up from your desk, always make a note or make some hint to what you were doing just before you left. I can't tell you how helpful that has been for me. I'm always working on a problem, and even if I finish a problem, I'm going to write down the next step that I was about to take before I go and take a break. That's the next tip. If you work 9 to 5 at a desk, you have to take frequent breaks. They don't have to be 15 minutes, they don't have to be 20 minutes, but you got to get up and you got to move around at least once an hour. You got to get up and move around. You got to do it. And it doesn't have to be you don't have to go outside or anything like that. It could be something like just getting up and kind of changing the way that you're sitting, or getting up and going up and down the stairs a couple times. Just do something to keep yourself active so that you're not just zoning out on the same thing over and over again, because it's good to kind of walk away from stuff too. Other thing is, if you stare at a computer screen for a long time, your eyes are going to get really dry. So I would always recommend keeping some sort of drink with you, bring an Nalgene bottle and fill it up with water. You really don't want to be dehydrated and sitting there and just not being active, because then how productive can you possibly be if you're just melting away in a chair, right? So definitely do that. The other thing is, you're going to be spending a lot of time sitting down. You don't want to end up looking like a chair. So I'd recommend in the morning going and getting some exercise, starting your day out with some exercise, something that's going to make up for all that lost time that you're going to have sitting, because it's just the nature of the world that we live in. You're going to be working at a computer. You don't have to be a developer. You could be a sales agent, whatever. You're going to be using a computer. So make up for that time and go get exercise and make most of the time that you're not at your desk. Another thing is, if you have a lunch break, use that time to just go outside and get a little bit of sun. It doesn't matter if it's an office park, whatever, just go outside, get a little bit of some refreshing air before you go back in and sit down, because it's not like you're waiting until 5 o'clock to be done with work. It's not like school, okay, 5 o'clock, I'm out. You're trying to be productive. You're trying to produce things. And the reason that you go from a certain time to a certain time is because that just seems to be for the average person, that seems to be the maximum amount of output that the maximum leverage of output that they can get in a day. Some people work 10-hour days. Some people work, 8-hour days. But if you're working at a desk job, people have, just on average figured out that, hey, 9 to 5 seems to be like the most amount of productive time that we can get out of a person to do stuff. So don't think of it like, oh, I got to use up all my lunch because I get an hour and I need to use this hour because I'm here for this duration of time. Like, maybe you take a 45-minute lunch some days, and maybe some days you take a 20-minute lunch, but who cares? You gotta try and find ways to use that time to prepare yourself for the second half of what you're gonna do. Don't let the second half just be you waiting for the clock to tick to 5. Like, don't let the second half be you waiting for the clock to tick till 6. That is really boring and it's really sad, and that's a lot of people do it. So be that person. Find ways to think about problems at work or stuff that you're doing. Make a plan for when you come home, what you're gonna do. Make a list for your groceries. Like, use that time to be productive. Don't just let it kind of slip by, because that hour is still a part of your productive hour and lunch. But don't just use it as like, okay, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna wait until the clock strikes 1 and then I go back to work. Don't do that. That's just it's not worth it. So my tips altogether are really just do something really active before you go into work. Make sure that you have a lot of beverages with you, like just bring an Nalgene bottle, fill it with water. Keep lots of pieces of paper and take frequent notes. Like when you go away, you can come back and you're not gonna just like sit down and zone out. You're gonna come back and you're gonna work on the thing that you said you were gonna do. The other thing is use your little breaks in your time productively. Don't just sit there and watch a clock. Use it to be productive. Okay. Well, hopefully someone finds this interesting. It's just some stuff that I was thinking about yesterday when I was at work. Like, oh yeah, these are like a couple things that I've kind of realized since I've been working at a desk job. So, all right. I hope you liked that video. Thank you.